So I just want to, on behalf of his friends, colleagues, and those that have purchased stuff from him, I'd just like to say all the best in the future, post-ATO, and congratulations. Jesus, pretty big gift.
Briefcase.
You have to return briefcase to me.
Oh shit. This watch?
No, it's back here.
Oh no, I don't think so. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but you want to say a few words? Just a quick few words.
Only a few words. All I want to say is it's time. Time to go, time to move on, time to refocus, and time to do what I really want to do in life. So this is it.
Paul might go into politics, I think. And I thought I'd cover Andrew now, because Andrew is very hard to... No, yeah, okay, Andrew. Where is Andrew? Yeah, what can you say about Andrew? Just a nice guy. But there's one feature about Andrew that usually means I'll fall asleep, but Colin will put in some good arguments, and then all of a sudden Andrew will say, well, he'll give us his interpretation, and we think, oh yeah, and 9 times, well, 100% perfect time to reveal it. So Andrew was in LBI, and at that particular stage he was heading for commissioner status. Like he was just a rocket ship going straight to the top. And everybody sort of agreed, you know, because just look at him, he just looks like DC material. Anyway, as it happened on this particular day, he was standing around with a number of his peers discussing the intricacies of transfer pricing. And unfortunately, Dennis Rennie appeared on the floor unannounced. Now, you can, sometimes circumstances are what they are, but at this particular moment, Andrew took short. So he had to leave the group. Now, unfortunately, this was interpreted by Dennis Rennie as guilt in the extreme, and forthwith Andrew was shipped to business alert as the ultimate punishment. And in fact, he was going to go to Ian Porter's section on hard labour. But as it turned out that Ian decided he wanted to experience other areas of the ATO, and I ended up inheriting his position in 1990 here, 91, 92, and so there was a bit of a rumour that it was Peter Hope that got Donna and Andrew together. But in actual fact, I think I actually laid the foundation, because as I said, Donna has got a soft spot for teddy bears. So, on behalf of your friends, your colleagues, I'd like to wish you all the best for your future. And apparently, I asked him what he's going to do post-ATO. And I got to admit, I'm a romantic myself, but he said that all he wants to do is keep Donna happy.
Hello. Thank you to you all for the present. I have a feeling it's something that might help me out how much I win at the races, so I think that'll come in handy. I've been in the office 14 years, and 7 years I've been lucky enough to work under Michael's leadership. He's been a hard manager at times, but always fair, and he was always there if you needed counselling. I think that was great.
I shouldn't get into Colin too much. He always expects the worst. And in reflection, I was thinking about Colin, and everyone you talk to tends to know Colin Nelson. And I've often wondered why. And then, you know, I'll have a look at him and I realise that he's got the bearing of a gentleman. The blue eyes, the blonde hair. And when you talk to him, you're immediately struck by the sharp mind and wit.
That's not blonde hair, grey hair, man.
And he can be a very intimidating fellow. But he's known for righting rights, for champion causes, and for sticking up for the underdog. And he's been known not only to stand up to, but take on some more of the intimidating managers. And I won't mention any names, I won't mention. Is Jeff here? Well, maybe Dennis Rennie might be there for lunch too, so of course this was all before Men's, because all the managers now are cuddly and, you know, they've all changed. Your colleagues, and myself personally, all the best for the future.
Thank you all. I suppose a bit stiff in a way. I've been here 30 years almost since the first time I had to go out with the speech. But you're the people I'll miss most of all in this place. I think I can cope with being outside and just not having much more to do other than my manager wants me to go into practice with him, so I'll need plenty of practice. I don't fear having to work too hard if I'm going to spend the rest of my working days with Michael, but it should be eventful and well, who knows? Who knows? But I'd like to thank you all. Thank you all for your company, the good times, the laughs, the memories, and I'm taking Jeff with me, so don't worry.
I've been asked to, there's a lot of things I'd like to say, but it's a crowded room, subject to litigation, etc. But Peter is a person that's always surprised me. In fact, when I heard whispered that he was thinking of taking an early retirement, taking retrenchment, I just thought the rumour had been started by him to annoy those SOCCs that really thought they were entitled to a package, and, you know, if you get too many people putting in it, it means that everything's delayed and then they've got to have reverse order of merit. And I knew darn well that I wouldn't get a chance of getting out if that was the case. But there was an incident when we, in fact, I heard that at one stage Peter was more interested in what my team were doing than what his own team were doing, which was pretty good for his own team, but, you know, put their team under a bit of stress. So I said to the lads, I brought them in and said, look, you know, apparently I've heard that Peter Hope is checking on us, so I think we're going to have to slow down as far as work's concerned. Just take it a little bit easy. But there was a number of incidences that occurred. We had things missing, and in fact one of them was one of our couches. We decided we'd move them down from the 7th floor down to the 6th because top end they would. And about an hour later someone suggested that one of the couches was missing. We'd actually walked past this blank space, and so we went searching. And I actually searched every floor, every nook and cranny, and it was great fun. But I couldn't find it, and I thought maybe it was a couple of individuals that had done it. But it was I heard on the grapevine that maybe it was Peter Hope that was the instigator, although it was never proven. But you know, we eventually found it in special order behind the closed doors. So if it was you, you know. You think you'd have better things to do with your time.
Like spending half a day looking for it, you know.
Yeah, but you know, that increases your network. And, it's amazing, you know, what you can pick up with, you know, the rumour mill and whatnot. So look, on behalf of all your friends, your colleagues, those that know you, and I understand that I shouldn't be saying this, but if you're looking for a loan, apparently Peter's the person to see. So all the best.
Don't go too fast, man. Oh, that's okay. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Yeah. Thanks for the kind words part of that speech. It's very nice. Thanks for doing it at short notice. Obviously, no one else wanted to say any nice words about it, so I can understand that too. But anyway, thanks to the memories in the place. I don't think I'll forget most people here, most for good reasons, good times, but occasionally, yeah, upset a few people. But if I've upset anyone in the place, I apologise for that. I didn't know I was keeping an eye on Michael Worsfield's team either, but I think that was probably a rumour started by, well, probably by me. And that couch incident, yes, guilty. I never knew some people could be as possessive about a couch as Michael's section, but there's obviously a very special couch to them. But like Jim goes, it was funny watching them trying to find it. What else do I want to say? Not too much. I'm a bit of a loss for words. So thanks again, everybody, and all the best with catching the tax cheats out there, because if you're doing your job well, which I'm sure you'll be able to do, it means that I'll be paying less tax. So I appreciate you if you work pretty hard on the cash economy. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Bill. I'm a bit concerned about those last few words, because most of my clients are going to be cash economy, to make sure that you're well averse with the taxpayer charter. I've been asked to say a few words about Ron, and again, no warning whatsoever. And I've worked with Ron since about 1990. Didn't know him before then. In fact, I actually thought he worked for the TAB. But then again, well, I know. Yeah, well, Ron's been a reasonably active team leader and team manager and in case selection, and apparently there was only this particular wave of retrenchments, that redundancies, that he sort of started thinking about, maybe he should sort of put his mind to other things. And apparently he did some little exercise on how much money he was going to get, and he was quite surprised. So apparently he had a lot of sleepless nights about it, and then there was a rumour that went around that No Sock Cities were going to get a package, and he just broke down, actual fact, and he realised then that he wanted to leave. And plus, I think one of his colleagues, Peter Kelly, was a bit of a pain in the butt because he'd been having this expectation of leaving. But anyway, yeah. So when Ron got the opportunity, Ron took it. And in fact, that was one of the reasons why I put in actual fact, because if you haven't got your network of other team leaders doing work for you, then it makes it very hard. So, on behalf of your team, your colleagues and your friends, all the best for your future after the ATO.
Well, thanks for that. Cole, I think you better get your work up to date too before you start. Look, I've enjoyed the time that I've been here. I think the people in the office make the office what it is, and some days it's the people you work with, sort of, they're the ones that, I don't know, just make it easy to turn up to work when you don't really want to some days. But it's been a terrific, particularly the 8 years at Dandenong, and I'd just like to wish everybody the best that's going, and those that are staying, well, good luck to you as well. Thanks a lot. While I'm here, a legend leaving, Peter Kelly, I'd just like to say something to him. Firstly, yeah, I mean, look at his attire. After 8 years of asking to wear a bloody tie, today is the day. But look, Peter and I have known each other for years, and we've worked pretty closely over the last, 8 years since the building's been up. And well, we've travelled a lot around, and we've punted a lot. We've lost a lot, and but it's been a lot of fun. And it's been a huge sigh of relief from the taxpayers and agents down Gippsland that the great tireless one isn't going to turn up to get things done before the first thing of the quaddie or the lunch, whatever came first. So, you know, Peter's been a great friend of mine and to most of the people here, and I would, you know, with all sincerity, wish you all the best, and Marilyn, for the future. All the best, one.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Ron. Yeah, well, thanks everyone for their kind gift, whatever, their wonderful thoughts and everything. I'd like to also thank especially Kim and Mary Joseph and Marilyn for trying to make our last few weeks as enjoyable as possible and whatever. Definitely like to thank Marilyn for giving me the opportunity to get out of the place. She knew I just run to the end of the tether and had to get out, and of course without her backing me up I couldn't have taken the plunge, so certainly appreciate that. Ron, very, very much an underestimated manager. Gets things done all the time. People tend to think that he's a bit blasé, I suppose, cuts a few corners, whatever. But the fact is, when something's got to be done, he makes sure it gets done. The people that work under him enjoy doing the work for him, and they make sure the work's done. I've been lucky enough to be working with Ron for 8 years. It's just been fantastic. Not only has he been a great manager, but we've ended up with a great friendship. But anyhow, thanks for that, Ron. Once again, thanks everyone, and all the best for the future, in or out of the office.
Talk about a suck job, gee. Not only does he suck up to his wife, he sucks up to his boss.
To present to the presenter. I was going to start off saying in the usual way that Michael's been in the office for about 32 years. It's not true, he's been here about 5 years. He's been employed about 32 years. But he's been my manager and doing a lot of casework together. He's taken me up to the field there and showed me how he actually does it. And learn a lot from a guy like this. He's a bit of a wizard on spreadsheets, and you'll go into a job and get the key books out and say, right, these are the figures you want, throw them out in the spreadsheet, put them on his Excel, play away there for ages, comes up with a magic figure. Well, I worked with him for 8 years, it never worked for me in any case. I've taken the approach in the job to be efficient, get in and out quickly. Well, you know, you get comfortable in jobs sometimes. But apparently his wife complains he's very efficient at home. Having said that, I'll say no more. There is a gift over there for you, Michael. Please take one. And that's from all of us. I was approached outside the door too. Someone came running down from management and said, oh, please hand these out to the managers. The Reserve Bank of Australia cheque payable to Michael Worsfield, the sum of $1,001 in consideration for his kindness to free up the salary budget for remaining staff. And similar cheques have been made out for Ron Collett and for Peter Hope, once again in consideration for kindness to free up the salary budget for remnant staff. There you go. Put in the bank account. Probably about 10 million, I think.
Then if I stayed for the next 5 years, so I'm glad none of you did those calculations, because you know, we might not be going there. But thanks for everyone that contributed toward this gift. I understand it's a watch in actual fact, and I couldn't really understand why, you know, when one gets plenty of time.
Right, and I ended up in the
Okay, you start.
Hello? Oh, is that too loud? Okay. It's too loud for me. I'd like to welcome you all here this morning. This is the more formal side of our presentation for the people leaving on redundancy. We have two apologies this morning from Tony McInerney and Tony Sullivan. They're both in Canberra and can't be here, but they send their best wishes for the future for all the 19 leaving today and next Friday. When we were going through these redundancies, we got a list from Corporate Services that lists 387 years of service. It is effectively what we're losing today and next week. Now, other than the years of service, more importantly is the experience of the people behind those years of service, and also all the friendships we've made with all those people. So that's the more important aspect of this morning, to say goodbye to those people, but to recognise their achievements and to recognise their years of service. Most of us went to lunches and had presentations of gifts and cards, etc. over the last week or two. So this morning's more a formal presentation of plaques and certificates. The presentation goes along the lines of, if you've been here less than 15 years, you get a certificate. If you've been here 15 years or more, you get a plaque. And if you've been here 30 years or more, you get a free brain scan. And 4 of our SBI people qualify for that. 1 just walked through the door. One slightly disappointing note today is that no one from personnel is able to be here. And unfortunately, a lot of the questions that the people leaving may have can be addressed to myself, but I won't have all the answers. So if I can't answer the questions you have today, I'll make a note and take them to personnel personally. Right, what we're going to do this morning is we're just simply going to get each of the managers of the people leaving to present the plaque or certificate to the person leaving, and simply to make a 1 minute or 1.5 minute talk or presentation to that person, bearing in mind that we had the lunch yesterday where most of the talks and everything were done. If any of the applicants or the redundancies, sorry, not the applicants, if any of those people wish to respond, they're more than welcome, but bear in mind that there's 19 people going, so if we allocate 1 or 2 minutes each, that's almost 40 minutes, so try and keep it as brief as possible. So Michael, shut up. Also, pleasing response for all of you anyway. I know a number of you had questions in relation to that. We might as well get underway. What we're going to do is get John McNamara, our, at this point in time, site director, not for much longer, as we go to regional activities, with regional activity directors. He's simply going to present the plaque or certificate to the person, and then we'll get the manager.
For the last 6 to 7 years of that, he's worked in the lodgement enforcement areas, and for most of that time I've been his team leader. His going is certainly going to affect our area, and it will affect it in a negative way. And I'm sure that's affecting a lot of areas in the office at the moment with these redundancies. George, he keeps us amused most of the time. He became a legend this year, managing to pick a successful 0 in the footy tipping. I don't know how he's done it. Also, look, he's managed to lock the top drawer of his cupboard this morning, and he's lost the key. So anybody with, I don't know, a hammer or anything, please come and see. Over the years in the lodgement enforcement areas, we do appreciate the time that you've been with us, and I'm sure you're leaving many friends in the office. Okay, so congratulations.
To all my friends, thanks.
Nice and brief, George. Second person is Samantha Lysart. And I'd ask Graham Main to come forward, please, Graham.
I'll hand it straight over. Sam's sort of come back for a couple of days. She's already been on leave, although she might suggest that it hasn't been really leave that she's been used to. But really, Sam's probably the baby of all the people leaving today. She's only had technically 4 years in the office, although she's had 6 years in customs. So in total, she's had about 10 years with the public service. 11, sorry. And from a team point of view, she's been an active and friendly member of the FBT team, which will be greatly missed, as with most people that are leaving today. But to Sam, her family, I wish them all the best. And although Sam's career path might be put on hold for a little while, I'm sure with her expertise that she'll get it up and running again and certainly go on to bigger and better things. So I wish you all the best, Sam.
Thanks everybody, you're a lovely friendly bunch. I'm swapping all of you guys for nappies and feeding and throwing food all over the place, but I'm going to enjoy that too. Thank you.
Third person is Tom McGee, and the presenter is me. Thank you. Tom gets a plaque because he's been here 15 years. There you go, Tom. Tom formerly worked in withholding tax before he was seconded to join SBI by Barbara Benson under the guise of Mins. And Mins has been such a success, Tom's decided it's time to leave. No, not at all. Tom's been basically working as a regional resource for the last couple of years in SBI. But we've worked very closely with him in SBI support. We wish Tom all the best for the future and his future studies, which he's going to embark on, which is unusual for Tom. But anyway, all the best, Tom.
Well, thanks all for coming. I've, as you say, been in tax 15 years. Tax has been very good to me. It really has. I've enjoyed it and met a lot of people. But it's also been very good for me. There was a lot of things I just knew nothing about. And since I've been in tax, particularly the HR role, it's something I've really, really enjoyed. And quite a few times, a few years ago, like in the mid-80s, I was thinking that I wasn't sure if tax was really for me. Then a lot of the change programs that came along, and I decided that was for me. But I think tax has changed in one direction. I think I've changed in another. And I think now there's a lot of other things happening, and it's time to part company. But I think I am going under good terms. I've made a lot of friends. There's a lot of people I will keep in touch with over in the future, and I have lots of plans which start as of Monday morning, so I won't be having a big holiday or putting my feet up. So again, thank you for coming. I really have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed almost every minute in tax. Thank you.
The next person is Michael Watts, but Michael's already had his presentation earlier this morning. He's had a job opportunity already, and he's had to go on a 6-hour bus trip leaving at 10 o'clock this morning, so Michael's already left, but Michael's left a lot of friends. No, he's not actually. It's a facilitation course for 7 days. Michael's left a lot of friends, especially in the support area. We'd like to thank him for all his time and effort that he's put in, and I'm sure that he's helped most people here in their development processes as well. Thanks, Michael. Adam Davis, if Adam would come forward, and Johnny Lampert will make the presentation.
Oh, sorry, I forgot you were here. I've already had a presentation this morning, and the rest of the dirt came out there, so I'll reduce that. But Adam's already been approached by some headhunters, and I believe he's going to be one of those corporate criminals we've been dealing with in the next few years. And so I wish him well in his future endeavours, and just overall he's spent about 12 years in the tax office, or 13, 12, 14. Just missed out. So, just a gold watch, huh? And he spent some time. I had him as on my staff, or sort of on our staff in complex audit. That was some years back, and then he's came to special, and I've really been impressed with his performance. So I've got no doubt that he'll be a real go-getter out there. So good luck, Adam.
Thanks for your kind words, John. Had I known it was applied for 15 years service, I would have stayed the extra 4 months. First of all, I just want to thank the people who organised the function yesterday at the Workers' Club. Thank you very much. And Ray, I know there's about 8 TABs on the way over to Box Hill. I don't want you stopping at any of them this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Wayne Ladner and Reg Fredericks, please.
For only 18 months, but I've known you for over 10 years anyway. And you have always been very eager to take the horses by the rein and off you go. And I'm pretty sure you'll do a very good job outside too. So good luck anyway.
Thanks, Reg. Thanks very much, everyone. It is sad to leave tax after nearly a quarter of a century. I just won't. I just won't know what to do. I don't think I'm that sad to leave the organisation, but I'm certainly sad to leave friends and colleagues. To my fellow redundees, I'd just like to say farewell, good luck. You'll probably need it. And to all the rest of you, farewell, good luck, you'll definitely.
Thanks, Wayne. Andrew Laird and Michael Worsfield to present, please. What can I say? Yeah, unfortunately, for those of you that missed the presentation yesterday morning, I covered it fairly well. And I was trying to think of a couple of words to describe Andrew, and basically it's Mr. Nice Guy. And he was the ones that, he was the officer at the end of the audit that used to clean up the mess for that the others have made, and we appreciate his involvement. I'd just like to say that he's going to be sadly missed. He was an intricate part of SME, and I don't know how they're going to recover losing an individual with so much expertise as Andrew. So on behalf of everyone, I'd like to present this it's a plaque, I guess, isn't it, for 14 years service. And Andrew pointed out that he was 4 months short for actually getting the bigger and better prison. But then again, these things happen.
I made a speech yesterday, so I'll just quickly say thank you, goodbye, and good luck.
Mary Littress and Graham Main to make the presentation.
Mary's, excuse me, shut up. Mary's been around the office and regionally for about 20 years in the office, and over half of her time's been spent in BT. The rumour was that no one else wanted her, but I'm not quite sure whether that's quite correct. But anyway, most people know Mary and know her and love her for the person she is, because she is a lovely person, and her smile will be missed from the office. And just finally, that if people see Mary and David walking out hand in hand together, don't worry, there's nothing to it. Some people make a suicide pact, but David and Mary many years ago made a pact that they'd walk out of the office together. And in fact, it's about the only thing in this place that's ever come true, I think. But Mary, all the best for the future.
Thanks, Graham. I really am lost for words. After 20 years of service, I've definitely got mixed feelings about leaving. A bunch of people has just been fantastic. I don't know what I'm going to do for the future. Maybe concentrate on my family, maybe get a part-time job. So hopefully I'll come across some of you in the future. Good luck to every one of you. As Wayne said, I think you'll need it more than us. But thanks very much. And FBT, thank you for the last 10 years. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary. And Graham did steal my joke. I was going to crack one about David leaving the same time as Mary, but I think I better not now. Colin Nelson to make the presentation. Michael Worsfield.
What can I say about Colin? Actually, there's two words that I can describe Colin, and that's fearless warrior, because he was the one that would go out in the audit and find the adjustments and upset the taxpayer, and that's where Andrew came in at the end. But yeah, it's Colin's going to be sadly missed from SME, from the tax office, because he's been very involved, and he does take it personally occasionally. So, and I think that's most probably what you do need. You need crusaders in the ATO, and Colin's been in the office for 29 years, and it is very sad that he's leaving. But well, I'm going to get to see him afterwards anyway. So all the best, Colin.
So it's come to this. Some people have said to me that I'm deserting a sinking ship. I think that's a little cynical. It's definitely a much different ship than I set sail on almost 30 years ago. In those days, the ship knew where it was going and what it had to do to get there. It is a far different organisation. Like when I started in tax, that was your computer and that was your printer. You know, even in those days, there were some people who couldn't use a computer. Thank you all very much for the many fun times I've had in the office, and the many good experiences I've had out on the job, in the office, and in life in general. You've enriched my lives enormously, and I thank you all very much.
Thanks, Cole. Stay here, Michael. Paul Nibb and Michael to make that presentation again.
Yeah, what can I say about Paul? I like to say that he was involved in audits and got things done, but actually fact he was just out on the road selling. And, if you had to put a comment on anyone who is leaving, who you think will succeed, it'd have to be Paul. So I'm going to make sure I keep up my contacts with Paul. Paul's been in the office 12 years and 13, sorry, they've actually made a mistake here, which is great, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, he's been in the office 13 years, and it's going to be sad to see him go too. He's been, as I said, an integral part of SME, mainly on the buying and selling side. So, all the best, Paul.
Well, yes. After Colin, but what can I say? After 13 years, and they only counted me 12 years. For those who know me, I'm a person of few words. So today I'm not going to make an exception. But thanks for your support for the last 10, 12 years.
Neil Rogan and John Lambert to make the presentation.
Yeah, well, this one's right. Neil has been here 17 years. Congratulations, Neil. Neil came to Special from withholding tax or the old source deductions we would know it, or inspections. And he's turned out to be quite a surprise package, so it's a big disappointment for me to be losing him. But he's making a significant shift in his career. He's turned into teaching. So he's going back to school, and as taxpayers you'll all be supporting him for the next 3 or 4 years, which you'll be all pleased about. So I wish him well in his future career, and by that time all my kids will be out of school, so we'll be right. But I'm worried about the grandchildren. And before I move on, I just want to wish everybody else well. I've known a lot of you for many years, and I suppose that one downside to all of this is I'll be one of the oldest left in the place, and that's a real worry. Now Jeff's gone. So good luck, Neil, and thank you.
Thanks, John. I would worry about your grandchildren. Probably like to say thanks for everybody that's here and everybody else that's gone in the past. It's been great working with everybody. When I'm looking at my classroom in the future, I'll see some kids playing up Robert Lynch, Stop Fiddling. And I'll be able to remember some of the characters from here, and hopefully I'll be able to make them laugh if I talk about Ray. If they're bad, I'll make them cry. Mr. Zaker might get a mention. Or Mr. Dalton, and numerous others. But has been great, and thanks a lot.
Thanks, Neil. Reg has quite rightly pointed out that in the Swahili alphabet, K comes before R, so I've left out Peter Kelly. I'm terribly sorry, Peter. After 23 years, Peter Kelly and Ron Collett to make the presentation.
Yeah, I've been ordered to keep this short and sweet, and I haven't got a clue what I said yesterday afternoon. But Peter's been around for 23 years. He's well known and well liked. I haven't spoken to anyone that's worked at Dandenong that doesn't know old Ballsy. And I just, in view of the huge hangover, I think I'd just like to wish him and Marilyn all the best for the future.
Yeah, well, I'm going to keep it awfully brief too. Just simply, I'd like to thank everyone for all the friendships throughout all the years. It's been fantastic, and just wish everyone the best for all their futures. Good on you.
Thanks, Peter. May Wong and Ian Aitchison to make the presentation.
Okay, on the certificate it says 12 years service. I asked May how long she had been here earlier, and she said a very long time. So when you look at the other odds that have spent a bit longer than that, it's a couple of lifetimes. May's been a very popular person in advisings, and I think it's basically been advisings that you've worked in, and we appreciate the good work that she's been putting in. Thanks, May.
Thank you. Well, it doesn't feel like 12 years. It felt like a very short time. I've made a lot of very good friends. I'll miss you all. Well, as to my plan, I haven't got anything planned. I haven't got a job to go to, so this is a really brave move. But I've decided that I should spend more time with my children and to support my husband. Like they say, behind every great man there's a great woman. I hope to be one.
Don't go in. Ian Aitchison and John McNamara to present the plaque.
Ian is one of those latter category that Ray mentioned that needs the brain scan or whatever it was. He's
shouldn't take long.
33 years service. H has been around the office for a long time, obviously, in a number of the technical areas. He's a very learned person. So I know the people in advising's area, or law interpretation area as they are now called, are going to miss his knowledge and guidance. It's going to be a big void to fill. And also, apart from that law interpretation job, in the last couple of years now, Ian has been silly enough to be involved with work and job design. It's
the reason I'm leaving.
Yeah, I, having been involved in it myself, I could have some credence to those words. It's a difficult time, and Ian's been able to maintain his sanity, and well, hasn't gone grey because he was grey before, but he hasn't lost any of his hair, and that's a very big milestone in that work. So it's very challenging work, and it's different, but Ian's been very devoted and been in there at meetings just earlier this week, putting in. So it's a good performance. The tax office is going to miss him. I suppose the big question is that will the golf club be able to survive without him? And H, we'd just like to thank you for all your efforts over the years.
Thanks, John. Yes, it's been 33 wonderful years, although the couple have been a bit doubtful. But in that time, I've worked through most areas of the office and basically met thousands of people. And a lot of those have passed through here, and I still meet up with them on the outside. I'll be joining them in the under the guise of tax agency, and so I'll still be putting a tax hat on, and hopefully guiding some new small businesses. So I'll still be hanging around small business, and possibly having to learn a hell of a lot about GST in the short coming future. So I'd like to thank you all, and wish, as everyone else has, the best of success. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. Ron Collard and John to make the presentation again.
Nice and short. I've known Ronnie for a long time. How many does it say on that? 21 years. I've known Ron 21 years, I think, because we were in a session together, and as I said yesterday, he was my buddy. Back in the days before that was trendy, thanks to Mick Sherlock, who we were on the same section with, and we had some interesting times back there. Ron's been in the technical side of tax all of that time. Came up through assessing to the auditing areas. They tell me he was a brilliant case selection manager, got all the best possible cases you could ever get. And like a lot of the other senior people that are leaving today, it's going to be a big void to fill. Ronnie's got nothing stitched up completely on what he's going to do, but he's just going to enjoy himself for a while and see what comes along. So all the best doing it.
Just thinking, wouldn't Mick Sherlock be proud of you now, John, eh? No, as John said, I haven't got any plans at the moment, except to keep the wife working for a bit longer. I do nothing for a while and then I'll decide. But I'd just like to say it's been terrific working here, particularly Dandenong, because I think the people, I probably said this yesterday, but the people are terrific here and they're rather special. And I'd just like to wish everybody, those that are staying, well, you'll need the good luck, I think. And for all those that are going, well, we'll catch up outside somewhere. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Ron. Peter Hope and John McNamara to make the presentation.
Okay, Peter's another one who I've personally known for a long time, back 17 years ago, although it was more than 17, you just went AWOL for a year or so, did you? 76, enjoyed the good life overseas, so it's really been 18 years past. 20? There you go. I was never very good at adding up. But yeah, Peter's another one who's come through, I suppose, the traditional ranks, passed through assessing, and when that, well, it was before it died, he moved on to the auditing side of things anyway, and he's been, still got your purple biro. So for those few people who weren't around in those days, because we've hardly recruited since auditing, assessing died, he's been a valuable asset to the organisation. He's in recent years been taken on the team leader's role in audit after being an operative for many, many years, and he's like the other things that he's done in life, he's done it very well. He's going to be a loss to the organisation, but on a personal front, I'll still be catching you there. It's all the best, Peter.
Yeah, as you probably come as no surprise to any of you, I'm not the smartest bloke here. I'm one of the few people that actually resigned from this place and came back. So probably just reinforces that fact that I'm not real bright. I'd like to thank, well, there's a couple of things I forgot to do yesterday. I forgot to thank everyone for the present that I got. I got this watch, which I just happen to be wearing today. Thanks to everyone who contributed to that. It's a beautiful watch, and it's been engraved on the back, so that'll remind me where it came from, not that I would need any reminding. And the other thing I forgot to do yesterday was when I was recognising people that I've grown up with in the office, or I've met through the office, was to mention the fact that I met my wife through the office. One of the odd occasions that I've been drunk at a Christmas function, she took advantage of me, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I'd like to thank Marty in absentia, or in her absence in fact, and so if anyone sees her, tell her that, pass on the fact that I did mention her. Because if she'd had a strap last night, I would have got the strap. I don't think you'll all need too much luck, because I think that we've got a fine bunch of people here, and I'm sure you'll continue on the tradition that my fellow people have continued in the past. Thanks a lot.
Dave Matter, and is Jeff here? Jeff, to make the presentation, please.
Well, David, 30 years of service, it says on here. Over the years, David's always been a very straight shooter, going back to when we used to have timeouts for team leaders to set up team plans. Reg would be there, and Bruce Ash, and David, Michael, of course, and the interaction was rather interesting, to say the least. But David was always very forthright in his comments, and he's always been very forthright, like some others, in telling me when to straighten myself up. He will be missed, because over the last 10 years, David's established himself as a bit of a guru on FBT, and is very highly regarded in that area. In fact, I think it's become a very big highlight of his career. So he will be missed. He will be missed nationally as well as locally for his expertise in that area. And David, I hope everything goes very well for you on behalf of everybody, and have this. Thanks, Jim.
I don't know what to say for once. Thanks everyone, I do appreciate it. Over 30 years you come across a lot of people, and hopefully in some way they've affected your life, you've affected theirs. And the most important thing about tax is the people. And I hope when John, in the future that he's got in tax, looks at the people who are running the office in whatever fashion they think they are, that they never lose sight of the fact that it's the people here that make them. They don't make us, and we make them. And as long as you remember that, we'll always have an office that we can be proud of. And there are some people here today whose faces, you can never forget. Terry O'Day, I just saw him there. You go back a long way. The Phantom. Goes back a long way, Terry. Charlie Granger, who's just lost weight. Charlie Granger used to do the old assessing schools, and Graham Madden, and Peter Wisdom, and there are old stages and faces and people that you never forget. And Jeff made some comment about us as business audit, and those of us in business audit when we had the MINS program, and Reg and Michael and Ron and a few others, we knew what they wanted. We also wanted to talk about footy and whatever else was on the go, so we made sure they got what they wanted. And we had a big night out at Mansfield, and one of the songs we were eventually tempted to join and sing at some sort of a sing-song function, or I don't know what it was, karaoke or something. We'd had a few drinks as business audit managers, and the very song that we wanted to sing was "We Got to Get Out of This Place." And you wouldn't believe it, over the loudspeaker system there last week, it was playing again. So there we are. Thank you to everybody. I have enjoyed all of the 30 years in the tax office. I owe so much to so many people, and it's helped me grow both as an individual and also, as I hope, a professional. So thank you all, and I'll never forget you. And to the people who are going, I'll meet up with you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Michael Worsfield to make the presentation. John McNamara.
Thank you, John. Oh, we'll do that. He gave me one of those earlier in the day, said we'll do it nice and private, so never trust him. Michael is another one of our long-serving members with 30 years plus in the ATO. Again, I haven't come across Michael personally, I don't think, until I came out to Dandenong, which is a bit strange because most of the guys from the assessing era and then went through and did either advisings or audit. I managed to know who they were, but I suppose Michael's another era to me, isn't he? I mean, he's 32 years, so he was probably out and about already in auditing before I was even there. But Michael's been in the technical areas for all of that time. I don't think you had any dalliances into the management side of things or any of these airy-fairy things that these auditors always believe others are doing. And been an extraordinarily competent auditor through those times, and been involved in the top end of town as well as in the small business side of things. And he's been the team leader of SME since the time I've known him. Done a very competent job of that. And he, like a lot of other people that are leaving today, are going to leave a big hole as far as personalities, as well as their knowledge and skills. So all the best, Michael, in your future.
I thought you were.
Thank you. Actually, you know you've been a success when your boss says to you that he didn't know that you existed for about the last, let's see, if he's known me for about 3 years, and it's about 28 years. And I can thank my father for that, because he said to me, if you want to be a success, be low profile. So, unfortunately, I can't tell you any of these stories because far be it from me to sort of spill the beans. But I'd just like to say that I will miss each and every one of you. To me, the ATO and everyone here is really like family, and I tend to think of you all as brothers and sisters and uncles and aunties and nephews and nieces. That's right. There's more nephews and nieces now, because when I first started, I noticed fairly quickly in the piece that a lot of the old guys who were at least 35 or older, they sort of took you under their wing, and they sort of, and it was like they were your parents. And I suppose life goes a full circle. So I hope to keep up my contacts with well, intentionally with each and every one of you. But if I don't, you'll understand. Having said that, and I'll keep it short, thank you very much. And thanks again for the watch, those that contributed. There was a bit of a story there. I actually purchased it myself. It was such a good bargain, and I mentioned it. Actually, in fact, I got it through Paul, and lifetime guarantee. And I mentioned it to Marie, and she was good enough to reimburse me yesterday. So thanks for your reimbursement. Thank you.
And last but not least, Jeff Phillips and the presentation by John McNamara.
Jeff, with 36 years clocked up, streets everyone in the field as far as length of service to the ATO. I mean, 33 years is a very, very long time. And for a significant part of those 33 years, he's been the holder of very senior positions, been involved in a lot of the important things that the ATO have been involved in a leadership role, and has done an excellent job in it. He's one of these people who are getting a bit thin on the ground, who actually started in a place called Central Office. Young blokes like myself only hear about it from the it's like the folklore handed down from one generation to the other. But Jeff started in Central Office before it became extinct and became part of the Victorian Office. And as I said, he's been involved in many of the big activities that have been involved in that time. As a business audit manager, with a number of other people in the region, making sure that Victoria was one of the best performing regions there were. With FBT in recent years, had a sprinkling of Min in there just for a little bit of something different, which is a bit strange for someone with an audit background to actually get involved in Min, I must admit. Don't attack me now, or do it later. But, he's had a very, very diverse career, and his is certainly one that's going to be very hard to fill. The knowledge and skills that he have are quite significant. And I personally am going to miss him because he lives one street from me, and I've been able to bot a ride on days that the Zeddy's not available, so that's going to be a tragic loss for me, definitely. And also the sources of information that he manages to get me from anywhere in Australia within hours of it happening is something that I'm going to lose. And Jeff always gives me an inferiority complex when I'm away for a couple of days, and he asks me what's happening. I sort of say, I don't know, nothing. And I proceed to get a good half hour's worth of what is happening around the place. So I'll definitely miss Jeff personally for those bits. So Jeff, on behalf of everyone, all the best.
Thanks, John, for those kind words. Making this decision for me wasn't an easy decision. I've had 3 or 4 years of practice now from when the first lot of redundancies came forward, and a very close colleague of mine over those years was Michael Jackson, who put his hand up, got the package, and then said, hey, what am I doing? And then last year he took the package, and people like Ray McAvoy, who gave it a lot of thought too. It hasn't been easy for me to make the decision. I don't leave with any bitterness. It's been interesting being a retiree on the other side and attending some sessions and hearing the bitterness that some people have, which I think is very sad. The organisation has been very kind to me, and John talked about Min, and in those days when the budgets were a bit better, we had a couple of weeks on Bribie Island supposedly learning how to do Min, and with Dennis Rennie, who was a very straight shooter, who I know ruffled a few feathers, but I'll always remember him for saying take the self-interest out of a decision and then make the decision. At this time, there's a big group who I think we tend to neglect, and that's the people who are staying. They do have to carry on, and the challenge ahead, it will be one of great change. I personally believe that we are turning the corner as an organisation, and people can belt me over the head for that. I've been a bit lucky to have access to meet and talk with some of the people who are now picking up the reins. A couple of years ago when we went to SBI and portfolios, after listening to some of the wise counsel around here, I went to Vince Mitchell and said, Vince, this is a shambles. And he said, well, come and tell the SES that. So, with the exception of one person who wasn't present, Barbara Benson, the rest of the SES were there, and I listened, and I spoke, and that's been recognised that it wasn't one of our most successful tries, but an organisation that doesn't try to reform and change is going to be an organisation that withers. I'm very impressed with David Butler, the new National Program Manager. We spent a day with him recently, and his capacity to put things in place, think them through, and also prioritise, because you people who are left won't be able to do everything. There's an enormous amount of change to hit you, things like agency agreement. We had a talk all day, or for an hour the other day, by the new Public Service State Manager, and she talked about the new Public Service Act and that. So I do have a lot of thoughts and concerns for you, that you are going to be in a period of very great change, and I wish you well, but keep a positive face, because I think within about 6 months you're going to see that we have turned the corner. Now everybody can bag me for that, and a number of people have been bagging me for years as being an old fool, so but good luck, and my thoughts are with you and my support. As far as the people who are leaving goes, and it happens every time, there's always those people, and they're here in among those people who are staying, who do the things like getting around, organising farewells and setting up things, and they make that effort, and it does make it a very happy occasion for those leaving, and I think we should all thank them for that. I know I'm waffling on a bit, but I think I just admire them for the courage they've got to take the plunge. Basically, in my case, the final thing, I do wish everybody who's leaving all the best, and I hope if they have some choppy waters, and listening over the last few times we've done redundancies and going along and listening to the presentations that were given, and I wasn't at that time contemplating it, they did say that people leaving an organisation have their good days and their bad days. So if you have bad days, sing out for a bit of help from your mates and the people you've made friends with in here. There's been many, many years since I started in '61, and I've known some very wonderful people and had a lot of advice from some very good people, and there are still some good people around, and those who are staying, you'll have to close the gaps and get through the changes that are going to hit. They are certainly going to hit, there's no doubt about it. I'd like to be a fly on the wall at the agent going to air their view with, I see they've engaged a firm to be neutral facilitators, so that could be an interesting experience. Anyway, I've waffled on long, and I look forward to at least meeting some of you, and John I'll meet of a morning because he goes for a walk around the block with his dog. Thank you very much.
Actually, it's a sign of the times that that Jeff and myself are both in regional roles, so we aren't as much in Dandenong as maybe local directors were in the past, and with lots of toing and froing, there have been individual presentations of gifts and things like that that have been able to be arranged other times, but we're fast running out of time. I haven't had a chance to do that for Jeff, so we've just had a collection for Jeff, and a card has gone around, so I'd just like to give that to him now from all his friends here in tax. More speech making.
Oh no, I won't flog you to death. Thank you very much. I didn't really expect this. I could always rely on Ron for a bit of advice too. Thanks very much, and I see there's something here from Myers about you, and I'll certainly, with my wife, put that to good use as a remembrance of my days here. Thank you very much.
So have an overall thank you on behalf of the business line. As Ray said earlier, the two Tonys couldn't be here. It was very unfortunate. They feel very poorly about it because there's a national conference being arranged and there are externals and everything like that involved too. So if it was just in-house, they would have soon given them a short shift. But as the site director and as a representative of the ATO, I'd just like to thank everyone who's leaving for their efforts. You've heard the story of their lives in a very brief précis. All of them have added significantly to the ATO, like all of us do. We're an organisation of people who matter, and we make a difference, and we support each other all the way, and that's what we need to do into the future as well. So I'd just like to thank all of them as a collective, wish them all the very best in what they do, and hope they think with fond memories of the people. Ray, as for the second year on end, or is it third year on end, has got lumped with the behind the scenes work that needs to be done for redundancy type occasions. So for all the efforts in helping the people with all their questions and getting things organised for them and helping me in that capacity, thank you very much, Ray. And to everyone else who helped out for yesterday's functions and for collecting and all those sorts of things to make the occasion special, thank you to everyone too. So to all the helpers, thank you very much. And as Ray pointed out, the support staff who set everything up this morning, and the soon to be much smaller support area. So thank you to all of those people.
Well, this is a bittersweet occasion. A bit of joy for those who got their money ready to go. A bit sad for the rest of us. What we're hoping to do today is capture a bit of those mixed feelings, which I'm sure we all feel, and we'll go through a little medley of songs.
Say goodbye, our fellow workers. This will be our farewell song. How it breaks, how harsh you're leaving. Now your tax career is gone. By and by, the dawn is breaking, and our tears are falling rain. Oh, your tax career is over. We may never meet again. Some say tax, it is a river that drowns the workers' needs. Some say tax, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say endless aching need. We say tax will be the losers. It's sad to see you leave. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing we ever do, we gotta get out of this place. Friends, there's a better place for you and you. The minute you walk through the door, we could tell you got a real big package, great big pockets, good looking, ready to spend. Give the one-armed bandits a bit of a bend. The minute your package is in hand, make a beeline for the casino. Hey, big spender! Hey, big spender! Hey, big spender! Save a little money for me. Do you know where you're going? Where are you going to? Do you know? Do you know what you're hoping for? Will you find the things that you've been searching for? What are you searching for? Do you know?
I say yes.
You say no. I say stay. You say I don't know. Oh no. You say goodbye and I say hello. Hello, hello. You've got your package now, it's time to go. To go, to go. You've signed the paper, now it's time to go. And now the end is near, and so we face our final parting. My friends, you've made it clear, you've won your case. Of this we're certain, that's full. You've traveled each and every stairway, but more, much more than this, you've done it your way. But what is a job? What has it got? If not for you, then not a lot. We say the words we truly feel. Your head's held high, your victory's real. The record shows you took the blows and did it your way. our fellow workers. This will be our farewell song. Oh, your tax career is over. We may never meet again.
Okay.
Was that? Yeah. I want to go, but you know what these amateur photographers are like.
That's right, yeah, we're all relaxed now. Yeah, I don't mind copy of it. Yeah, you give me the blank tape, I transfer to you. See ya. See you all. Motorbike had the back stop. And it's yours. Why am I at the bottom of the footy tipping? Bye-bye, Michael.
Thanks for your assistance, I appreciate it.
Hold the...
Oh, right. Is that still recording this?
Yeah.
Because I just publicly want to say that when I gave John Macca the cuddle a second time, a bit later on, I was very pleased to see his mobile phone in his pocket. Yeah, that should, you got it there?
Okay.
No worries. Thanks for that, Thong. I really